Preseason is finally here, and in this video we'll be telling you all you need to know about preseason betting. And why preseason betting presents a very good opportunity for bettors is simply because of the high number of games you get to see in preseason. There is always a large influx of games. In fact, you can get games every single day in preseason. I think that's what we like about preseason. But one thing for you to consider, that games that take place in major tournaments are not considered as preseason bets. For instance, at the time of recording this video, the Euros is ongoing and the Copa America is ongoing as well. Even though we are not in the major season, games from those competitions do not count as preseason bets. So preseason bets mainly focus on friendlies and other games that clubs play outside their major leagues in the off season before the new campaign gets underway. So yeah, what are some big preseason bets that we could look at?
Well, I think you have to be looking ahead to like the season that's coming. That's the point where you can now start predicting who's going to win the league, who's going to end up top scorer, things like that. And I think that's where you get most value, because I mean, just football has become very predictable in terms of like winners, who's going to win the league.
Just like saying Arsenal next season,
right? And can you remember that time that guy bet on Leicester? Did you just say Arsenal? That time that guy bet on Leicester to win the league, and it was
about
just
3,000 plus odds.
Yeah, and it actually came through. But of course, we're not saying you should go and bet on one dead team to win the league. But if you go Bayern to win the league, minus last season, but if you go Bayern to win the league, Man City to win the league, you know, Inter to win the league, Real Madrid to win the league, and PSG to win the league. That's 5 teams, reasonably safe bet. And things like that. Then of course there's something like Mbappe. Mbappe is going to Spain now. Is he going to emerge top scorer? Definitely there'll be big odds for that, and that's something that you can explore. You know, so I think that those kind of bets in preseason are the ones that work.
Okay, so while preseason is a very good market, it can also be very tricky because of the volatile nature that comes with preseason. And generally, like we always tell you, there are some markets to avoid even during the season, and the same applies for preseason. There are some markets that you definitely need to avoid. And of course, I think this one, it should be staple by now. Anybody that watches our videos will know that we are fully against correct scores. Whether it's during the season, off the season, any season at all, we are against correct scores, because nobody can predict accurately how the match will go.
And if anybody tells you, I get sure correct scores,
why can't the person play it? That's my question. Why can't the person play it? And over or under, ideally this is a normal profitable market for during the season, even at the Euros and all of that. But in preseason, this is a market to avoid mostly. Why? Because there is a very high discrepancy in the teams. I mean, you can have a Bayern Munich taking on a very very low team, and you can have Bayern Munich taking on Arsenal, but the quality of the team Bayern will put out maybe will be very below par. Take a look at this current situation now. We are playing the Euros, we are playing the Copa America. So what that means is that after the tournament, some of players will be on holiday. They will give them extra rest. So why some players that did not play at this tournament are already they'll be playing preseason. So don't expect the best of this side.
So that's also why I wouldn't go for like straight wins during preseason, because you'll be surprised. You know, Bayern can go and lose to one very very average side because they don't have their full players, and maybe the coach is experimenting, subs out 11 players that have or any number of players at halftime anyway, and then just changes everything up. So that's kind of the tricky part. I like doing my 1.5, so over 1.5 I'll just run it. Of course the odds are not usually very great, but if you get enough games together, and you know, at the end of the day also you have to be deliberate about what you're picking. You can't just, you know, blindly pick any number of games. That's where gambling, that's when it becomes like really just taking a gamble. But what we are doing here is we're trying to make sure that you are calculated in what you're doing, and you're taking safe, you're betting safe. So
away from theory, I'll give some of our viewers here a very practical example. I mean, a few days ago I saw odds for Cologne in Germany. They were playing against maybe a 4th tier team, and I was like, okay, let me just experiment on the game. Of course, I followed our watchwords: stake low, stake money you can afford to lose.
Yeah.
So I just said, let me experiment. But it was very particular because why are they putting up to under 14.5 goals in a match, which is to tell you that the bookmakers know about this thing. So never let them entice you. But I was like, under 14.5 goals, almost 3 odds. I have to just try it out and see. And I staked low. 19. The game ended 19-0. 19-0. Just few days ago.
One thing you should always remember.
So the bookies are out there to get you. They are not on your side.
They're not here to. Yeah, they're not here to give you money. So if you see something
and it looks tricky, it is probably bad luck.
Bad luck, yeah. It reminds me of that game that Benfica played one time where their opponents had to play their under-19 team in that game. And it was 5-0 at halftime or something. And before the match, you just saw that Benfica's odds there was just something off. And if you had gone to find out why, because if you see something up, you need to go and find out why. What do the bookies know that they are doing this? This market is not looking like normal. Something is up, and then when you check, you see that they know something. So it's always good to like make research like that.
Okay, then on the final note, something to also consider is the fact that in preseason, managers like to change their lineups a bit. So a bold advice for preseason too is, if you can, it might not happen all the time, but if you can, always wait for the lineup to come out before you place your bet, because some managers like the strategy where first half I'll use the fringe players and second half I'll bring the big boys in. So always look out for the team's lineup before you place your bet. So while I was giving them markets to avoid, what are the markets they can take advantage of?
For me, it's the over markets.
Yeah.
Over 1.5, maybe over 2.5 or so. If it's
odds might not make sense.
It might not make sense, but yeah, if you 2.5 would make more sense than 1. Most of those games are usually like 2.5. That's where you can start from. But just make sure that you are seeing the lineups, and you know what you're betting on. You are picking the teams deliberately.
Yeah.
That's very important. And also, I think handicap markets as well. Handicap is very, very good. It also kind of protects you. So, but at the end of the day, don't stake too much. It's preseason. There's still a whole season when teams are serious, and you can now put proper money. But for now, you can just have fun with it in preseason. Just make a little money here and there. It doesn't have to be, big returns, but just progressively making money. So I think handicap over 2.5, maybe over 1.5 if the odds are good enough.
Yeah.
And also you can. I think also we have to look at the leagues that are still on too. It's not preseason, but
some leagues are actually on, like the Swedish league, Superton is on.
And so you can also look at those just to add up and make
Brazilian
up the
Serie A as well.
Yes. But I'm always scared of that.
That league is the 20th can go toe to toe with the first.
So I don't like volatile leagues at all, because in keeping in line with what we always say about responsible betting and just not taking too many risks. Whenever I see that there's volatility in a place, I observe it for a while, and once I see there's volatility, I just avoid altogether. And another thing to remember is that you should make fewer ACA bets because of the nature of like preseason games and friendlies. There's a lot of volatility. You can't really tell, no matter how much you predict and foresee, there's still too much volatility for you to just go all out like that and make too many ACA bets. So just make fewer ACA bets. And I think that's going to be of like great help to you. And what's well,
I think away from preseason betting as trying to increase your stake power, we can also look at preseason betting as something to give a bigger picture of how the season will go. So for bettors looking at the bigger picture, preseason is a good opportunity for two major reasons. Number one is the fact that it gives an idea of how managers will set up their teams for next season. I mean, you might not know, preseason might not give managers the ability to use their best lineup because players might be at tournaments, and sometimes you might not even sign your marquee signing until maybe the first week of the season. But one thing managers always do is to impose their style already from preseason, how they want to set up. So you know that, okay, if these guys are setting up in an attacking way, I can consider them for the goal market next season or something. If you feel like their playing style makes them volatile to conceding goals, maybe the goal market, where you can just have something to analyze them on.
It helps you plan for the season. It helps
you plan for the season. Secondly, away from the team, it also helps you know which player you could bet your stats on. But this, again, is very subjective to your own interpretation, because once upon a time, Anthony Martial was firing on all cylinders for Man United. He even scored, I think he scored against Real Madrid. And then in the season, it went off. So, but generally, sometimes when you just see there's a kind of form you see a player going with, and you just know that this guy, I'm expecting something nice from him this season. You might not say how many goals he will score, but you can say I'm expecting maybe 10 to 15 goals from this guy. Or maybe you are seeing the certain way a player is playing, and you know that this guy, you go collect yellow card, finish this season. So stuff like that, it also gives you a bigger picture.
And as you can see, I'm wearing an Arsenal jersey, because and you can see as they wrote it, Emirates. So Emirates Cup, that's one I like to look at, because there are always goals, and Arsenal like to want to show themselves.
We always show ourselves.
Valencia won Emirates Cup some time ago.
You can't even remember.
It was 2014. I remember it vividly. Andrew Gomez was on fire, Otamendi, Rodrigo. But anyway, tournaments like that, those preseason tournaments, teams take them a bit more seriously.
They are much closer to the start of the season.
Closer to the start. And of course, Tottenham, because they don't win anything, when
they take the Audi Cup serious.
Go to preseason tournaments, they are on fire. They are playing like we need a trophy. Let's lift something. So, things like that. Yeah, so just look at preseason tournaments. So it's not just meaningless friendlies now. By that point, teams are very, very serious about how they give you a better view of what they are going to do during the season, and they take those games seriously. Also, Valencia has one called Trofeo Naranja, my club. Very, very important is our traditional preseason friendly. Always bet on that. Bet on Valencia to lose.
And quick one, by the way, preseason is always like the best time to do your outrights, because that's when you get the best odds for them, since it is way ahead of the start of the season. So what outright bets can bettors consider doing preseason now? Like if I were to bet on the Premier League, what outright bets can I place now? Maybe top scorer, which one?
For me, it's always the winner. Every year I say Man City win, and they win. So, but if you want to be adventurous, because Man City have been winning too much.
Not the one the jersey are winning.
This one is just a prop. Doesn't mean anything. But if you want to be adventurous, having seen Arsenal come second twice, feeling like they have more, experience with like title contention and all. Liverpool are probably not going to be there because of the managerial change and the fact that they're in transition. So Arsenal are the team that will probably, that will challenge, give Man City trouble. I think Arsenal will start very well. Man City now, they have too many players that's another thing to consider. They have too many players at Euros and Copa America, so they might not have their full players back, in time. And Arsenal will, probably have more players back. So of course, I can do Arsenal to win the league, but I'm not going to do that. You can do it though, but me, I'm not going to do that.
League win. So we have league winners, relegated teams as well.
Relegated teams, that's kind of, because last season everybody knew that Sheffield were going down.
Those ones.
I knew that Las Palmas. Sorry, not Las Palmas. What's their name? Cadiz, Cadiz were going down because I'm a hater. But also, it wasn't sentimental. I just didn't think that they had it in them. They had lasted too long in the league. So I think things like that can also be worth looking at. You can look at France, by the way. France is because now that Mbappe is not there might be some surprises. Also, Mbappe has won the top scorer award in France 5 years in a row, and now he's no longer there.
So there's a big opportunity.
If Jonathan David remains, he's a front runner. If Lacazette remains, front runner. Guys, I know, but Aubameyang as well. So just explore those markets. Top scorer, winners. For me, that's the one I would go.
Okay, that makes sense. So, all right, so that's all we have for you on preseason. Don't forget, preseason can be an exciting time to place your bet, but because of the volatile nature, you also need to be super, super duper careful before you make your picks. Don't forget what we said in this video. Avoid much aka bets. Stay low with money you can afford to lose, and try to check the lineup if you can, and avoid the correct scores market. Of course, stay safe in your preseason bets, make the right decisions, and watch more of our channel to learn how to become a more guided bettor.